Here I am at it again. Nothing like getting home from work and just cranking on my favorite instrument. So I haven't done a video in a few days, but I haven't had any ideas until I was messing about on my phone at work, and I forgot all about my favorite applications that I have on Android/Linux for the guitar. So, well, it's Guitars in Linux, and yeah, we're not done with the mini-series yet, so I've got more content to throw into the mix here. So why don't I go ahead and put this away, and we'll talk about some of these applications. Now, before any of you complain about the background noise, I have a ceiling fan on at the moment, and my comfort is more important than noise reduction and that sort of thing. It's starting to get hot here in Florida. Yeah, I gotta love that. So, all right, so let's go ahead and have a look at some of my favorite applications for guitar on Android. And of course, right now I'm looking at my Digi S3 Pro. That is my main Android device, and we've already looked at the Nux Mighty BT amp, so just look in the playlist for this video if you want to see that one. That is this amplifier right here that I've already had a look at. And so let's go ahead and look at some applications that I use. Right, this first application is called Chord, and this one is pretty neat in that this is basically my guitar chord reference. I also have cards in the guitar case, which are handy, but this is also very nice too. With this, I can go into favorites, which I don't have yet. But I can search for any specific chord. So if I want to, like, and this is my favorite thing that I like about this is reverse chord lookup. So let's say I have a fingering on my guitar and it contains just these 4 notes. Okay, what it's going to do here is it's going to tell me what that chord actually is. And this is a chord that I use all the time in my playing, but I never even knew that that is a D minor with an added 9th, with an F note in there as well. So the reverse chord lookup is one of my favorites because I'll sit down and I'll mess about with some of the chord shapes and come up with different sounds for them. Just by adding one note to a chord, you can change that sort of thing. So it's always fun when I discover these things by accident, and then I can just open up this application and use the reverse, and that's pretty much what I use it for. All right, so let's say we want a D major, and maybe instead of a 5th, we want that to be a 7th. Okay, it gives you you can pretty much change these to anything you want, from a sharp or flat, a flatted 5th. I'd imagine some of these chords would sound a little strange, but it is what it is. So I just use this application strictly for finding chords. Not so intuitive using my mouse on this thing, I have to admit. And then, of course, this allows you to find different scales as well. So if you want, let's say you want to play in the harmonic minor, okay, you can, which interestingly Randy Rhoads made popular with Diary of a Madman, if I'm not mistaken. All right, and you can play this back, and then for the fingerings, it gives you a set of fingerings up to the 12th fret. Personally, not my favorite application for scales. I have another application for that, but this is handy if you just, for a quick reference. You can go through and you can look at the many different fingerings. Ideally, these go up to the 12th fret, but for some reason, this is only allowing me to see 10. Oh, I see why, because I actually have to hide this in order to see them up to the 12th fret. But then, of course, most guitarists know that these scales are going to repeat at the 12th fret. So, all right, good stuff indeed. All right, so a Chord. I've had this application for years. I want to say I purchased this application 10 or 12 years ago. It's been around, and it's been on Android for a long time, and it's just been in my applications list. So good stuff indeed. So at any rate, you can define your favorites and that sort of thing. You can also do some custom things, which I've never even played with at all. So usually, this is my go-to application for finding those unique and exotic chords. All right, so, and I believe that's a paid application too, or it's free and you can, or it is free and you can, unlock, one of those in-app purchases, but I only had to pay for it once. I don't know if they're offering subscriptions, but for an application like that, nah. I would immediately get rid of it if they had a monthly subscription model. Okay, next we have Fretbuzz. Now, Fretbuzz is my go-to for scales on the fretboard. This is pretty amazing stuff, okay? You can go into the settings and you can define some things, which instrument that you're using. So if you're a bass player with a 4-string or 5-string bass, you can choose that. Of course, I'm a guitarist, so that's the one I want. And then, of course, you can have the root note or root number 1 in the scale show as a 1 or as an R, as shown in the diagram. I prefer it to show as R. All right, because then I know we're on root there. Then, of course, you have a number of different scales. Right now, my course of studying in theory is taking me through the major scales. And, of course, it's accompanying minor. All right, so basically you have the different diagrams, and this is using the caged system, C-A-G-E-D. When you learn scales using this system, essentially you can, the way the caged system works, and I haven't really mastered it, but I've got an understanding of enough of it that I can make good use of it when I'm writing my own music. But with the caged system, basically I can take these scales, okay, and then play them all the way up and down the fretboard, as you've seen me do a few times through this mini series, okay? All right, but what's really nice about this is it also lists the different modes. Like C Ionian would be the major, the first mode of the C major scale, but you could also define Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixed Lydian, Aeolian, and Locrian modes as well, okay? So obviously, if you're playing C major and you want to play Dorian for the same notes, then that would be D Dorian, and you would be able to see that the notes are identical in the layout, okay? All right, but that's neither here nor there. At any rate, this gives you an option for playing these notes in the A shape or formation, the G shape or formation. It gives you the fret number that you need to play these on and the notes. Okay, the E position, the D position, and the C position. This is probably the best scale application that I found, and it comes to you at the wonderful cost of $0. And there are a few applications that are available on the Google Play Store where you can get some really good stuff. But one of these days I need to actually take F-Droid and see if any of these applications are loaded up in there as well. So, Fretbuzz, definitely a killer application, especially if you want to learn different types of scales. Most rock guitar players like myself will play pentatonic scales, but those tend to get boring after a while. You really want to add some nice flavor. You want to be like Randy Rhoads and learn some harmonic minor scales and some other diminished scales. You can have a lot of fun writing music with these things. Okay, so we've looked at that. And then let's go into my next program of choice here. And then, of course, this is GTabs. Now, GTabs does require you to purchase this and have a pro membership. And I like this because you pretty much, if there's any song you're looking for, you can search for it and pretty much find most guitar music for most popular songs out there. And of course, there is a listing of a few that I have in my tabs here. I thought I had more than just these. Ah, I do. Okay, so I have a number. I have a number of songs already in my playlist that I'm in process of learning if I don't know already. But there are other different things that you can do too. You can have all of your personal selections by artist or different playlists. I don't have any playlists on this one. And what's nice about this, once you purchase a pro membership, you can also access GTabs on their website as well. And their user interface on the web, I've got to say, is much more user-friendly than the Android application, but still, this is handy nonetheless, and one of my favorite tools to have in here. Okay, there's also some tools that come loaded with this as well. It has a chromatic tuner and a metronome. Also has a chord library as well, but it's not as intuitive as the chords program that I just demonstrated. And then, of course, beginner's course, I don't need that. Way past that one. And then a few little video tutorials and that sort of thing. So GTabs is well worth having a look at. And moving right along, next we have this tuner here, and this is called gStrings. Now, it says it's ad supported, but for a tuner, this is probably the best one that I've been able to find in terms of accuracy. But if I were to compare this with my GP100, which I'm going to do right now because I've never had an opportunity to make a comparison, let's have a look and see how well they do. Okay, this should be tuned to E. Let's try another note here. Okay, my Valatin says the note is right on. It's saying it's a little sharp here, so this is a little bit more precise than my Valatin pedal. But the Valatin pedal says it's right on, and I've actually been going by this and I like it. So, good enough for me. But this is a good enough tuner if you're trying to intonate your guitar so that when you play a note on open, and then you play it fretted on the 12th fret, you can then check the tuning for moving your saddles so that you have a nice perfect pitch at the 12th fret. And so gStrings is a good option for that, and it's available to you in the Play Store. All right, moving right along, we've got TuxGuitar, and of course I've shown you this one during this mini-series, but we saw the desktop edition. This one is for your mobile phone. And gotta love it when we have free and open source. Let's go ahead and open. All right, we're gonna go into my G scale that I've been practicing, and you'll see that we have that here. And so you got an excellent tablature player here. Now, obviously, I have my audio turned off on this, but it does the trick. So if you want to have a tab player while you're on the go, this is the one that you can use. Now, personally, I don't think I would want to, use this for writing music. And there you have it. Those were all of the applications that I use on my Android/Linux device. And I know there are a ton of applications that I'm probably never ever going to have a look at, many of which that are on the Play Store are loaded with advertising and are a pain in the neck to even use, because you got ads popping up all over the screen, and you want to tune your guitar, you want to learn something, you need a reference, and then you got to look at all these crappy... drives you nuts just thinking about it, right? So I'm more for the applications that give you the option to shut off all the ads by asking for a reasonable fee, but I definitely avoid the monthly subscription models. Now the only thing that comes to mind is, do I really want to update the Cup of Linux jingle, or should I just stick with it the way it is? That does sound kind of cool, though, but probably a little bit lengthy for a jingle. Alright, so that's all there is for now. As a reminder, a little bit of love goes a very long way, so please be sure to take some of your time and be excellent with somebody today. Until next time, my friends, peace out.